Hey guys, it's your old pal Alice Cooper. Basically, this is Spooktacular. So you're gonna be seeing a bunch of horror movies that have a Halloween theme to it. Look for it all this month.
The Fly. This is, of course, the remake. In some ways, it's actually better than the original, at least in my opinion, anyway. So anyway, Seth Brundle, a brilliant but eccentric scientist, meets Veronica Qualif, a science journalist, at a press event. He takes her back to his warehouse, home, and laboratory and shows her his new invention, a set of telepods that allows instantaneous teleportation from one pod to another. Rondo convinces Veronica to keep the invention secret in exchange for exclusive rights to the story. She begins to document his work. Although the telepods can transport inanimate objects, they manipulate live tissue, as is demonstrated when a live baboon is turned inside out during an experiment. Failure, by the way. Big fail. Seth and Veronica begin a relationship. The first sexual encounter inspires Brundle to reprogram the telepod to cope with living tissue and successfully teleports a second baboon. Veronica departs before they can celebrate, and Seth worries that she is rekindling her relationship with her editor, Stalius Barnes. In reality, Veronica has left to confront Stalius about a veiled threat. Spurred by his jealousy of Brundle to publish the telepod story without her consent, Brundle decides to teleport himself alone, unaware that a housefly has slipped inside the transmitter pod with him. He emerges from the receiving pod seemingly normal, at least for the moment. Brundle and Veronica reconcile. Brundle begins to exhibit increased strength, stamina, and sexual potency, which he believes is a result of the teleportation purifying his body. Yeah, sure. He has sugar cravings, and Veronica is concerned about Seth's insanity and strange, bristly hairs growing from his back. He becomes arrogant and violent, insisting the teleportation process is beneficial and tries to force Veronica to undergo teleportation. When she refuses, he abandons her, goes to a bar, and partakes in an arm wrestling match, leaving his opponent with a compound fracture. He meets with a woman named Tawny and brings her back to his warehouse, where Veronica rescues her from teleportation. Rondell throws Veronica out, but when the fingernails begins falling off, he realizes something went wrong during the teleportation. He checks the computer records and discovers that the telepod computer, confused by the presence of two life forms in a sitting pod, merged with him to fly at the molecular genetic level. Bad news. Super bad. Rondell continues to deteriorate, losing body parts and becomes less human in appearance as the movie goes by. He reconnects with Veronica and theorizes that it's becoming Brundlefly, a hybrid of human and insect. He began vomiting digestive enzymes onto his food to dissolve it and gain the ability to cling to walls and ceilings, and realizes that losing his human reason and compassion, driven by primitive impulses he cannot control. Brundle installs a fusion program in the telepod computer, planning to dilute the fly genes in his body with human DNA. Veronica learns that she is pregnant by Brundle and has a nightmare of giving birth to a giant maggot. She and Stylist persuade a doctor to perform an abortion in the middle of the night, having overheard that their conversation, Brundle abducts Veronica before the abortion can take place and begs her to carry the child to term, since it may be the last remnant of his humanity, which is actually not, by the way. Stalis breaks into Brundle's lab with a shotgun, but Brundle disfigures him with his corrosive vomit. Brundle reveals his desperate plan to Veronica. He will use the telepods to fuse himself and Veronica together with her unborn child into one entity. As Brundle drags her into one of the telepods, she accidentally rips off his jaw, an enormous insect bursts from Brundle's skin. It traps Veronica inside the first telepod and enters the other. The wounded Stalis uses the shotgun to sever the cables, hitting Veronica's telepod, the computer allowing Veronica to escape. Breaking out of his own pod, just as the fusion process is activated. Brundlefly is gruesomely fused with the metal door and cabling of Telepod 2. As the mortally wounded Brundlefly, a telepod creature, crawls out of the receiving pod, it silently begs Veronica to end his suffering with the shotgun, and Veronica kills him. This comes after she cries for a bit. Kind of a sad ending, to be perfectly honest. I'm actually quite disappointed. But it's actually, in some ways, it's actually better than the sequel. But anyway,
The Fly is a decent movie and it deserves a rating of popcorn balls and gum.
so The Fly, this 1986 remake, is a somewhat enjoyable movie. Good movie for Halloween. I'm not sure where you can find it on TV. I don't know, but I think you can find it on Blu-ray for like $8 or $9. So go ahead and pick it up. It's a good movie for Halloween to enjoy. Like I said, in some ways, it's actually better than the original, at least in my opinion, anyway. So anyway, go ahead and hit subscribe, share and like, of course. Watch some more videos. Hit thumbs up to support the channel. Leave a comment below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.